I'll think
You know
about it
we're
while we're
live.
doing it. Oh,
Hey, just jabber over the beginning. That's fine. So yeah, I guess we're live. One of us knew that. It's live from the farm, live from the barn. It's Andy doing it up here. It's Thursday night football times 12, which is I feel like I have so much useless information up here about the NFL. And this one is just not sitting with me as far as I'm thinking. I asked Whale this too. Like, is this unusual? They do Thursday games, they do Friday games, they do Saturday games. I mean, there's games all over the week, it seems like, in the preseason. I don't remember there being a dozen freaking games on a Thursday. This is, I don't quite understand what the reasoning was.
I can't.
But here we are. Fuck,
Yeah.
I don't, we don't have, I don't have the NFL package yet for the year. Like, is that a thing? Can I flip around? I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch without finding some streams, I guess. And I don't know how much I'm going to want to watch. I'll watch some highlights, I guess.
Reddit, man.
Like,
Reddit.
if you had to watch one
NFL
game tonight, Will, yeah, real quick, if you had to watch one of the games tonight, would there be one you really wanted to watch, Mr. Will? That's a hell of a question.
It is. It is. There's only one game where I think there's a handicapping angle that I'm going to take on. And that is Panthers Bills. Do you know where I'm going with this? Have you thought of that one?
Ooh, I haven't looked into. Guess I haven't looked into who's playing there or not, and that'll be my little thing I'm going to touch on here.
This is why.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so Panthers have a well-established quarterback, Cam Newton.
And Josh Allen's going to start, I think.
I know, right? That they're so this is exactly you've already got my angle kind of set up here.
Yeah,
so you got Cam Newton's probably not going. We're not going to see him. If he takes snaps, it'll be one series, and I wouldn't actually expect to see him at all. And if you look down the Panthers quarterback depth chart, oh my goodness, Derek Anderson's not walking through that door. This is like a quarterback room with Garrett Gilbert, some guy I've never fucking heard of who's got 3 years experience, and Kyle Allen, the guy that transferred from Texas A&M to Houston. All 3 of these quarterbacks are. I mean, I'm guessing that they're gonna. They're camp. There's at least the last 2 guys are camp bodies. They seem to be content going with Gilbert as the backup to Cam heading into the season, which is kind of spooky given that Cam's gotten popped in the head an awful lot of times. But
yeah, you can talk shit about Derek Anderson if you want, but he was a decent backup.
He was fine. He was a fine backup, and he's not walking through that.
He'll probably start for the Bills this year.
He probably could, but on the other side of the ball, we have a legitimate, the worst ever quarterback camp battle between Josh Allen, Nathan Peterman, and what's the last guy? AJ McCarron. And those guys are fine if you're battling out for a second string position, I guess. But they're, somebody of those 3 is going to get a lot of reps against 3rd and 4th stringers from Carolina. Carolina's not particularly deep. I don't like their depth at all on defense, especially. And they're going to be trying to be put on a show. I would expect the Bills are going to be testing these guys, having them throw. We're not going to see the sort of standard Bills offense. They're going to be trying out some of the passing stuff to see who fits the best. And this I think, sets up a good angle on the Bills here. And they're -3. I mean, it's pretty well documented. You don't necessarily want to lay points in preseason, but I think this is a really good spot for Buffalo, and just the way that they're set up in terms of what they're trying to do today versus Carolina, I'm going to back them at -3. So let's go Bills.
Yeah, I guess if you want to bet on the Bills, maybe the preseason's the spot to do it. I'm still looking, and that brings me to a point, and I've shared this I think the first person I shared this with after I found it. So if you're not familiar, I don't know. I'm guessing most of you, anyone who watches this, listens to this, has Twitter. You can't follow there are some people that follow everybody. Jose Bautista follows everybody, but lists are great. I sat and made a list. It took me like 3 hours of a whole bunch of NFL reporters. I had to do a bunch of Googling to figure out who followed what team. I made this great list, and then I was telling somebody about it, and they said, "Oh, this guy has a list. You should just look at his." And it's Chris Wesseling. I don't know if I say that name right ever, but it's just at Chris Wesseling, 2 S's. He makes lists, so you don't have to follow all these people. You don't have to have them, jamming up your Twitter timeline all the time. But you can go to these lists, subscribe to them, and you can click on it. And you click on the AFC East, and it's 54 Twitter accounts. You're going to get those feeds, and it's only Twitter accounts that cover the 4 teams in the AFC East. So you can really like narrow it down and start just pulling information off of Twitter from beat reporters, from official sources, team bloggers, just anything like that. I love that. That's what I'm looking at this afternoon, trying to pick some angles. I would like to try to back some sort of over, even though I don't like overs in the preseason, in the battle for the Keystone State here, just because you got the angle of 2 new offensive coordinators in Philly and Pittsburgh, and I'll be damned if I can name either one of them. I think that one was Philly lost the coordinator and a quarterbacks coach, so it was like I don't know, a guy who they pulled him out of the film room, I suppose, and he got promoted, and then who's our jiffable, lovable guy that went to Cleveland from
Todd
Pittsburgh?
Haley. Todd Haley's gone.
Todd Haley went to Cleveland, so there's 2 new coordinators. They're going to try to, they need all the work they can get with the offense. So as much as defenses are ahead of games, ahead of pace as far as the preseason goes compared to the offense, I do like the over 17 in that. If I can get a little more information about who's starting, Big Ben's not going to play at all. That's already out.
Mason Rudolph or
don't
Landry
know
Jones?
as far as, yeah, I would say Landry Jones probably starts, and then I haven't gathered anything on Big Dick Nick yet, so
I think he might.
We will see.
Nick might be battling, or he's dealing with some shoulder stuff, so it may be a third stringer out there. Yeah,
but it's a flat 17. Obviously, preseason's always going to be lower, but I like a flat 17. You see a lot of 17 and a half, a lot of 18s. There's even a 20 out there today, but I like this one. It's a little lower. I think I can get 3 scores somewhere in the first half, just because there are a ton of skill players in the backfields and on the outside. Obviously, we're not going to see Antonio Brown, but there's a lot of good backup receivers. I'm excited to see the Dallas Goedert from South Dakota State playing for the Eagles.
Nice.
I think we can get some points. I'm not playing it officially yet, but I definitely, once I get a little more recon, so I will be scouring some Twitter here and trying to figure things out.
I love it, man. I love that angle. If you end up playing that, I'll probably tell you that's a good one. Let's watch some football, man. Are there any other games worth noting before we wrap this puppy?
Nope.
Okay. Cool.
Not really. I mean,
fun week 1.
Yeah, I mean, Washington, New England. I don't think Alex Smith is going to start. I think they're going to play Brady through the first 3 quarters.
Is that what they've? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, he needs to get some reps. He's the kind of guy that you need to get into a rhythm.
The only other one that really piqued my interest would be Baltimore Rams. I'd like to see some more Lamar Jackson, and then Chicago, Cincinnati. I have not heard if there's going to be Trubisky sightings yet. I would think they'd want to maybe get him a drive or 2, but if not, then that's not worth watching.
I kind of like the first half under might be a fun look in Rams Ravens. They've been doing joint practices this week, and all of the news I've heard from the joint practices is the defensive intensity is way up. And if those guys are out there playing full blast defensive football for the first half, you might have a 6-3 type of game.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go against RG3, that's on you. But yeah, we'll we just dropped another divisional podcast with our good German friend Zuma.
It was so good.
Zuma from Dortmund.
We have
And
2 for 2
yeah,
right now.
these
for
are
2,
long.
so good.
Podcasts are long. You might have to split it up into 2 commutes, but it's so hard to try to cover these teams and not go 2 hours covering 2 divisions at a time. But it was real good. Look for that. We're gonna do 2 more of those as we get to the season, and yeah, have fun watching some football tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.